Hey guys, it's Tombox here. Welcome to MST.TV. Now for this video, we're going to step away from the TCG meta. We kind of have that mostly established already with all these big tournaments happening and a lot of people focusing on getting that practice in and doing better at the big tourneys. We're going to step away from that and we're going to look into the future as Yu-Gi-Oh! Continues to progress regardless if we stay behind in our current TCG meta. Now we're going to look past the cybernetic horizon and into the SOFU of soul fusions. Sounds like a soul food of soul tofu. But regardless, this is going to be the new set coming out, and the cover card is Cyberse Clock Dragon, which is a fusion, and I'm actually going to be talking about the whole set around that monster, as well as a Chaos Dragon support that I guess none of us really asked for, but perhaps it will shift the meta and give us a splashable boss monster support for lights and darks. Now before getting started with this video, I just want to give a huge shout outs to my most recent Patrons. We have Cameron Scott, sounds like a movie director, Bend Over, I won't bend over, but you sure can, and there's also Matthias Boog. I know Bend Over, you're probably using a fake name, but anyways, huge shout outs to you guys for becoming my most recent Patron Bros. And as always, if you guys want to help support this channel, keep this channel alive, running strong, and keep upgrading to new levels, you guys can do so by checking out the Patreon link down in the description below. And if you find me at Nats or at WCQ down at Fort Worth, come get one of these. You just have to answer one skill testing question. Very easy stuff. Sexy stuff. Really like these things. They turn out really well. So let's get into the future past the cybernetic horizon. So to kick things off, let's talk about the things a bit more generic. Now we have Levionia, the Primordial Chaos Dragon. It's been a while since we had a generic boss monster that we can shove into stuff. Like last time I can remember a generic boss monster, it's either like a Dark Arm Dragon where all dark decks would just shove it in, but it became a situation where whether or not you can actually control your graveyard or not to actually summon out Dark Arm. Whereas this one is a lot easier. It is quite easy, just like a BLS or a Chaos Emperor Dragon. You know what? I'm just going to read over the card text. So we have Levionia, the Primordial Chaos Dragon, which is a level 8 Dark Dragon effect monster. It has 3,000 attack, 0 defense, and like the Chaos Brethren, you cannot normal summon or set this card. It must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing stuff from the graveyard. Now the stuff that includes 3 light and or dark monster from your graveyard. So it requires 3 monsters for the summoning condition. I'm not going to call it a cost because it's technically not a cost. And you can use the one effect, the first effect of this card's name once per turn. So in other words, you can only get the actual summon trigger effect once, and you can only choose one of the following. Well, you don't really get to choose, it just comes with an option depending on what you hit. So when this card is special summoned by the method above, you can activate this card. This card cannot attack this turn. Also apply one of these effects depending on the attributes of the monsters banished to special summon this card. So if you only use light monsters, you can special summon one monster from your graveyard in defense position. And judging by the text, it does not state target. So it makes it almost impossible for your opponent to DD Crow. But I'll get into the details of, I guess, each effect in a bit, so we are kind of a little more educated on this. Now, if you only use dark monsters, randomly shuffle one card from your opponent's hand into the deck. Okay, this actually synergizes quite well for hand-ripping combos with Darkest Diablo's deck. So, you know what? It's already a dark attribute. Very similar. Okay, I see where the chaos is coming from. And if you do banish both light and dark monsters, you get to destroy up to 2 cards on the field. Okay. So let's just break this one down quickly so then maybe we can go into the next monster. But without rushing, if you only use light monsters, one funny thing to note about this is you need 4 monsters in the graveyard to really benefit from this. You need 3 of the things to actually meet the summoning condition, so 3 light monsters, preferably link monsters because you only summon in defense mode. You don't get the ability like Daigusto Emerald bringing back that Gaia and basically going to a link for free. No, that's not the case because in defense mode you can't bring back the links, so links are probably going to be your cost, or not cost, but your summoning condition fodder, and then you get to bring back one monster. that just means that you need to fill your graveyard with a lot of stuff before you can actually really benefit off of this card. But I feel like if you play 3 of this, can you actually make a deck? It's quite possible. It's quite flexible, and you can even have some sort of OTK potential. Now, this is a semi-Nomi monster because it only must first be special summoned from your hand. So in other words, your opponent can actually revive it with a monster reborn. Now, if you only use Dark, I feel like this is actually quite a mean thing to do to someone, because if you're playing the Darkest Diablos deck, it's quite easy to fill the graveyard with a bunch of stuff. Like, if you use like Arima, you use Lilith, you have what's his face, you just like Foolish Barrel another card into the graveyard. You have 3 guys in there. If you have Darkest Diablos already available on hand, and you have Darkest Diablos plus this card, you have 2 3k B6, and you could potentially rip 3 cards or 2 cards out of your opponent's hand. And if you have a virus, you can maybe just empty their hand entirely. But that's of course a very sacky combo. So the Dark effect is pretty good. It allows you to actually utilize this card when you open it. Light and Dark is probably the most versatile thing. You get to clear 2 cards off the field, and it's non-targeting. This whole non-targeting thing makes it so that you can clear Darkest Diablos and other non-targeting boss monsters. I believe you can use this against a Borreload dragon as well. If Borreload is still a thing, then you can use this to actually pop the Borreload because you don't target based on the current card text. So there's a lot of fun things you can do. Now bear in mind that you can't attack with this card if you do use any of the effects. However, if you find like some variant of like 60 cards or something, you can mill a bunch of these, a bunch of Light and Darks into the graveyard, and then you can spam 3 of these on board. You still have 9k worth of damage. And if you're trying to go into rank 8s, I guess exceeds into rank 8s, this is a very easy monster to summon that actually benefits you. Perhaps you can even revive one of your rank 8 boss, like level 8 monsters from the graveyard, and then go into a rank 8 as well. So there's a lot of possibilities of where this card can go. And since it's so generic and it doesn't really hinder, I guess you don't really want to see it in your opening hand, especially if you have nothing really in the graveyard. But overall, this is an amazing monster. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this monster. What would you actually splash this into? So, is this like a really good card? Is it a dud or is it a stud? You guys let me know down in the comment section below. And now we will move on to the fusion monster of Cyberse Clock Dragon. Now, to talk about Cyberse Clock Dragon, I kind of want to bring attention to that all main character decks eventually gets really good, at least to a level where you can actually compete with stuff, at least at a rogue level. Like Dark Magicians, when they got the new support, they can top regionals, they have top regionals, and then there's E-Heroes. E-Heroes, once they got that Stratos, it was just really, really good. And then for 5Ds, we've got Doppeljunk Plan and Quasar decks. For Zexal, I guess there was Utopic Zexal. And for Arc V, there was Pendulum Magician. Is Cyberse Clock Dragon the one, guess, boss monster to take it to the next level? Who knows? Maybe there's even more support. Now for Cyberse Clock Dragon, I'll also have to talk about the stuff around it, like Clock Wyvern, Clock Spartoy, and Cynet Fusion, because they're all really much related to the combo of bringing him out. So let's start with the card text of Cyberse Clock Dragon, which is a level 7 main character boss monster, sharing boss monster stats of level 7 with 2500 attack and 2000 defense. Materials requiring 1 Clock Wyvern and 1 or more Link monsters as the material. And when this card is fusion summoned, you can send cards from the top of the deck to the graveyard equal to the combined Link rating of this card's materials. So the more you mill, the more attack you gain. You gain 1000 attack for each card sent to the graveyard. That's pretty amazing, but other cards you control cannot attack. So it's a balancing factor, which is fair. So in other words, it's got the aggression. While you control Link monsters, other monster you control cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effect or for an attack. So while you control a Link monster, I'm guessing this is the only card that can be targeted. Based on how it's worded, it sounds really kind of weird because, oh, if you control a Link monster, nothing else can be targeted. Okay, now if this is fusion summoned and sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you can add 1 spell from the deck to your hand. So that is actually a really amazing effect. Search for any spell. It's been a while since any card did that. I'm not even sure if there is a card that does that. The only thing that comes close that searches a spell from the deck, I would say, is the Brandish Engage. But this thing searches for any spell. You can search for Raigeki, you can search for Reborn, you can search for like any clutch card. So if your opponent answers this card, you get to retaliate with your own methods. Because that's, to me, that is a thumbs up. Now, one of the cooler monsters, I think, is Clock Wyvern, because he's a bit more generic and he's not restrictive. It's like a mini Phantom Sky Blaster, and giving you access upon normal summon or special summon, you get to summon out a token at the cost of half of the attack points of the monster, which is okay. You have an 1800 beat stick. It's okay to actually lose the attack, especially when you can go into like a Nightmare Phoenix. There's like 2 Cyberse monsters, so you get access to some of the more exclusive Cyberse line of Link monsters. So overall, this is a pretty good generic card, but one of the cards that you're technically supposed to go into is Clock Spartoy, and that's also a Link 2 that requires 2 Cyberse monster, and this guy is the fusion exclusive. I got a little excited when I read the card, and then I realized that he limits you to only fusion summons out of the extra deck. So he has 2 effects. Upon Link summoning this card, you can add a Signet Fusion, which is like a Cyberse fusion spell, which lets you bring out Cyberse fusion monsters out from the extra deck. And if you don't control an extra monster in the extra monster zone, what you get is you get to banish 1 material from the graveyard, which is okay. That's not too bad. But if a monster is special summoned into a zone where this card points to, it points to the down and to the bottom right, you get to target 1 level 4 or lower Cyberse monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You can negate the effect. I'm like, wow, that's pretty awesome. And then there's the clause where you cannot special summon monster from the extra deck except for fusion monsters. So that part kind of sucks. Okay. So basically, if you have Hornet Drones and a copy of the Clock Wyvern, the combo is very basic. You normal summon out the Clock Wyvern, summon out the token. Now you link into Clock Spartoy. Clock Spartoy is like, whatever, it's just chilling. Add yourself the Signet Fusion. You have now Signet Fusion in your hand. Activate the Hornet Drone, summon into the zone where it points to. Bring back the Clock Wyvern, and then now you can link off the token into, say, a Kagari. Kagari adds the token generator back, which is the Hornet Drones, and now you can play the Signet Fusion fusing off the Wyvern and the 2 Link monsters. So you get a Link rating of 3, so you get to mill 3 cards, putting your guy at 5,500, which is not too bad, especially when it only costs you 1 card to get that far. So that's basically the combo, but I really see much more potential in the Clock Wyvern. The Clock Wyvern is just a beat stick and at the very core. And in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe this is the one card that starts to get more and more abused. You get more Cyberse access and maybe more Phantom Sky Blaster, who knows. But if you're able to say activate Call to Haunt to bring this card back and then summon out the token, and then you go summon out Phantom Sky Blaster on your own turn, spam the entire board full of tokens. Because don't forget, OCG did limit their Hornet Drones down to 1, and yeah, it deserves to get hit. Like most token generators, I think, judging by what Konami is doing and the direction that they're going, tokens are going to be super big and pivotal in the game right now, so they're going to start hitting a lot of token cards. And this, even though it's only generating 1 token, Phantom Sky Blaster is likely going to take a hit too. That's just how I see the game going. But anyways, that's the cards available right now. What do you guys think about these cards? Do you think Cyberse with new Clock Wyvern and these new monsters, do you think this is actually going to push them to a more competitive level? Or maybe we just got to wait for more support? Leave your comments down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts regarding the direction where these things are going. And that's all I got for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to keep up to date with more random stuff, aside from just paying attention to the meta, hit me up with a thumbs up button. I'm trying to get some games in, but it was a bit late, so I couldn't get my game in this time. But I am trying to get some live games for you guys. And if you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, hit that subscribe button. If you want to help me out, go check out the Facebook page. And I also have a Twitter, guys. It's at Tombox Creations. Go check that out and follow me. And that is all I got for this video. So if you guys enjoy it, well, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.